Oh, holy sh**. As with any tiny house build, this one starts with the trailer. After picking up a couple of load of 2x4x8s and 2x4x10s and plywood, it was time to get started. The trailer for this build was from Sunrise Trailers. This was going to be a pretty standard 30 feet by 8.5 feet build. First up was the floor insulation. We decided to go for a high R30 insulation for the entire home. This would help keep out the heat during the summers and keep the cold out during the winters. Keep in mind that I, Theo, or better known online as I Saw Bear, don't have that much building experience, but Ethical Tiny Homes, along with their founder Nick Gregson, were more than happy to give me instructions and let me have a helping hand in my own home.
Yeah, you can do that full line there, yeah.
Even the screw holes?
Yeah, kind of on this half, like this area here.
Yeah, okay.
Not only was I making a home for myself, I was gaining the skills to do construction later on in the future. Luckily for me, I was off work at the time, so I had plenty of time to come and help out with the early phases of building. After the insulation came the base floor paneling. This isn't the final flooring, but this will be the base which we construct the final flooring on top of later. Once the base floor was done, it was time to put the frame together for the first wall. And I finally had a good excuse to bring my drone out, get some good shots of the construction while we're at it. The window holes were also built into the wall at the get-go, to make it easier once we stood the wall up to slot them in. And after about 5 days of work, it was time for the first wall to go up. One wall down, many more to go. From here on out, the pace of building picked up quite a bit. More walls went up, and were secured in place. After about 10 days of building, most of the wall frames were up in place. The build for this tiny home included 2 lofts and a split roof design, with the master loft having a taller, flatter roof, and the rest of the home having a steepled roof. Of course, I wasn't gonna miss the chance to test out the strength of the roof with my own body. And yeah, we built it solid. Once the wall framing was done, it came time for the waterproofing. Blue skin and Tyvek would be used. We also took this time to finalize the paint on the windows. Black on the outside, white on the inside. The Tyvek and blue skin waterproofing were put just in time as well. Same for the skylights that would go in the center. Because shortly thereafter, well, the weather took a turn for the cold. Around day 35, a massive cold front moved in, and the whole place was covered in snow. But luckily, the home was dry and, well, decently warm for a shell anyways. Around day 40, we went out to some of the local mills in Mission and Langley to get some of our finishing materials, both for the exterior and the interior, but we'll focus on the exterior for now. We coated every single cedar panel for the exterior before mounting them. We also ordered in some metal roofing and siding and applied it to the home. Then the cedar siding went in. A little bit of shingling details on the top, just to add a little flair to the house. And before you knew it, the house was looking pretty good. On the outside anyways. Of course, we couldn't just leave it as a shell, so we'd have to work on the interior next. For the interior, we'd face some pretty tight design constraints. Lots of customization. Some nice finishing touches. And of course, we'll get to take a look at where the house ended up. But that will have to wait for next time. Join us for part 3.